Looking at the discourse around the animated short Mike and Melissa has really made me feel alienated from modern internet culture in a really distinct way. I think this feeling is informed by the fact that I grew up right when internet content became internet content, capital IC. See, people seem to ask the same questions over and over about this cartoon, with its amateurish style, chaotic tone, and surprising sexual and romantic intimacy. They say, is the creator of it being serious or joking? Why would he make this? And why would anyone agree to help him make this? But I think I can parse he and his collaborators' motivations pretty clearly. They were taking part in a practice that has lessened in the years since, but was at one point a key part of millennial culture and identity. They were having fun. They did it because they thought it would be fun. That's one of the main things I see when I watch this short, with its goofy metalheads attacking the Arcade Fire wannabe band, and the lame as hell suburban party that I know I myself have been to what feels like 1,000 times. The flirty dynamic the protagonist and his purple skunk girlfriend have. I see people expressing themselves without the pressure that it would be shredded to pieces by the Panopticon of post-social media internet culture. A culture where content can and will be viewed and discussed by anyone. Content which needs to be as clearly defined as possible to speak as precisely as possible to its intended demographics. To go back to my age, I have a distinct memory of watching early YouTube content, and the main defining trait of a lot of the stuff that went viral is that it's really silly. Like really, really silly. Like bizarre, irreverent, caricature-esque stuff. Is caricature-esque a word? I don't know. And a lot of that stuff was made by people who in fact did have backgrounds in performance and media. So imagine the stuff being made by the amateurs who didn't learn about film composition or sound editing or dialogue writing, at least not in a professional context. They just caught a vibe and went with it. It's kind of bleak to think that so many people would assume that anyone who would make something like this was basically an incel. Like, that's a pretty loaded term to apply to a cartoon about a guy who kisses a purple skunk. As an aside, the fact that people would assume this about the creator of the short and then act like that gives them free reign to just roast him is like doubly bleak. Like, if this dude was the things that internet denizens theorized he was, that wouldn't make it right to just lampoon him, dog. Look, the internet was as chaotic and cruel back then as it is now. But art like this was made before it had worn down what feels at times like an entire generation. Before people became so hesitant to make stuff that wasn't considered and reconsidered and reconsidered and reconsidered and look, I understand that this was made for a class. It is a class assignment. But like, let's be real, none of us were in that class. We are not the teachers of said class. And if I submitted an assignment and my teacher just ad hominem roasted me like people online might do, I'd be so bummed, dude. See, this is hardly the first time I've come across content online that's maligned for its amateur qualities, its shagginess, its sincerity, its awkwardness, that was very clearly simply a labor of fun. Something that wasn't clearly serious or clearly a joke. Art that was motivated by a desire to make something strange with your friends. On a personal note, people have complimented me for how I make exactly the type of art I want to make regardless of trends or whatever. But I'll be real, I don't really feel that way. Like, I'm hyper aware of all this stuff. Like, I assume everybody my age, a little bit older, and certainly younger is as well. I feel like my video that I'm making right now is just a verbose way of saying, we used to just vibe with the stuff we made, you know what I mean? We used to just goof and get weird and get crazy and all that stuff. And it wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a long, long time ago. On a positive note, it's nice to see Mike and Melissa being reclaimed as a piece of genuine expression. When you see the fan art that's happening right now, it feels like it's a genuine celebration of Mike and Melissa on its own merit. I really hope this is a sign that people are moving back towards a non-capital C content approach to engaging with and taking part in self-made media. I have some hope, certainly. The best I feel I can do is continue to try in some capacity to be myself in my life and my artistic output. And yeah, I hope that Mike Chenoweth and his homies are doing well. And I hope that everyone who's watching this is doing well. Or, you know, doing as best they can. Have hope. Peace.